Hello, and welcome to tutorial 3 on how to work with materials for creating your turret for naval art. So, first things first, let's delete these two. And before I delete these, let's discuss why. Now, the materials in its own have their own issues that you have to deal with when you're creating the model. So, that's why I've separated these into sections because each section has their own issues and need to be talked about. So it could be understood and digested individually instead of all in one package. And so let's create our example. So let's create a cube, just a cube. And we want to attach a material to this. So let's go to here and go to material properties and let's add a material. So go to the plus sign. Now that just creates a slot. That's nothing. What you do is add new. And now this is the material for the entire model. When you add the first material, the material will be applied to every single face. So let's go to here. And let's say we want this red. Bam. Now the entire cube is red. But let's say we wanted to add just one bit more. So let's add another one, and we want this to be blue. See how it's not applying to the entire face? Now let's go into here, and go press here and here. Now we can actually go in here and assign blue. Now you can see some faces are blue and some faces are red. Now, we also might want to see, okay, we want it to be a certain color in viewport. We can also do that. We can actually go in here and scroll down and go to viewport display and actually change it to blue. And now these sides are blue. Now, this is just preferential. I don't do this on my own. I actually just stay in here when I'm working, but sometimes you might want to have this. Now, we also want to change how it looks. Let's go back here. Maybe we want it, we don't want it so shiny. We want it, oh, matte. So let's go with this. It's max roughness, and now it's not that reflective anymore. Compared to how it was earlier, we can actually increase metallic, specular, and decrease roughness. It's hard to see the effects until the very end. Now, one key issue that comes up when working with materials is that when you import it into Unity, it's not always going to look right. So, for example, this blue. Well, hold on. Let's backtrack real quick. I need to discuss one key thing. When you work with materials for naval art, you need to be aware of material zero. Material zero is your main material. So for a turret, for example, the body is the main body. You don't touch the material for that unless you want to change the color. But that should always be the main color. If you have black on the turret, that should be a secondary color. That should not be material zero. If that black, like black lens, is material zero, and the rest of your turret is material one, then there's an issue. We can solve this by moving, let's say material 2 wants to be the main one, material 0. Let's move this up, and now we can actually go in and select these and actually do mesh, sort elements, sort material. And now when you do that, hopefully material 2 should now be material 0 and the red should be material 1. And that's just the main issue with materials. Now, this tutorial is just going to be short because I'm not going to be discussing about texturing. Texturing in and of its own self is very complex. There's a whole different subset that you need to learn that I haven't learned. I haven't learned how to do texturing because I don't need to do texturing. To me, I don't have a point of doing texturing. But for example, if you want to add an image of, let's say, the American flag on top of your Iowa turrets, then you need to learn how to do texturing besides having to, let's say, cut a rectangle into the turret top and then cut this, cut this, cut this, cut this to make it look like something. You can always do that, but you can also work with texturing to add that image. But there's a whole lot of things that come up in that process of adding the texturing that I haven't learned, and therefore I cannot discuss it in this tutorial. And so, this is where I have to end the tutorial. Thank you, and I'll be seeing you in the next tutorial.